What's that shirt? Is it a...
This shirt is Roswell. It's from Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All
I
right.
actually got to go to Roswell, New Mexico. And, oh, God, it was the kind of thing where everything's aliens. Everything's always got like that kind of motif. And we went to some store, some kind of like shop. And literally the guy, you know, he was in character. We go in and he's like, "Good evening, Earthlings."
Oh, no.
And he's like, "Hello." And we're like, hey, man.
I wonder if, like, people from Roswell get sick of saying they're from Roswell because people would assume, like, oh, aliens, am I right? And like, no, just shut up. Just, no.
Totally.
What if, like, that night he went home to his ship and was like, I don't know, I try to tell people all the time, hello, Earthlings. I don't think people on this planet give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like the guy,
care.
like the guy from Men in Black. He's like, I don't know why this.
Yeah, ripping his skin off, getting back.
It's like, no, I'm trying to make first contact. Literally no one cares.
That movie ruined it for everyone.
Yeah,
So,
but that's a good point. Yeah, everyone must hate Roswell so much.
I've seen, like, specials when people go to Roswell. And, I mean, obviously, I think it's like everything else. The business owners there love it. They will put alien shit all over their stores and everything. The locals are probably like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I'm just trying to go to work.
I'm just trying to operate this farmer's market. Why is everyone talking about aliens?
It's got to be annoying. I always equate it to, like, when you go to a town for the summer, like a beachfront town.
Oh,
Yeah.
And, like, all the shop owners love you, but the locals hate your fucking guts
But the
because
thing with
now there's
Roswell,
traffic.
there's no season for Roswell.
No, it's all
year.
Yeah.
All year.
So it's like Myrtle Beach.
Basically.
Yeah. They're like, it's September, F it, let's get in the
I
water.
want to see my goddamn aliens.
But we ain't got no oceans, but we got some aliens.
Yeah.
If that's all they got, that's all they got. Because there is a restaurant there. I saw it on some documentary. I wasn't watching it because I thought they would see aliens. I think it was on Ben and Teller's Bullshit. They did a Roswell episode.
Sure.
And, you know, this woman's got, like, her restaurant has got alien shit everywhere because it's this little, like, meat and three, you know, out of the way diner. So she's probably like, this is the only way I'm making any money is to try and sell it based on, you know, hey, I'm near aliens. Eat my shitty grilled cheese sandwich and then maybe see a UFO.
It's in the shape of a UFO, actually. No, it's actually a sourdough bread.
Yeah. This bowl's in the shape of a UFO. It's round.
What's a better experience, the Bigfoot convention or Roswell in general as a whole?
Well, Bigfoot convention, it rained, so there was no, tour that we were planning on
It
going
rains,
on.
where you're like, oh, he's definitely not coming out. God.
He ain't
like the groundhog's like, oh, he's
Yeah.
not coming out.
Bigfoot don't like the rain.
His hair gets all puffy.
Yeah, but it rained, and like all the people that were gonna tell stories and stuff, they kicked rocks and went home. So at least
Well, what is their story other than I was in the woods and I think I saw a Bigfoot? I mean, that's everyone's same story.
Don't spoil it for me.
But it turned out to be a cat.
Yeah. That's the mystery. What was it?
What
in
was it
real life?
really?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
And that's the mystery there. This is Andrew Van, host of One Star Reviews. The voices you're hearing right now are Evan Harris and Jason Underwood of the Bearded Ones comedy podcast. Let me get there. The Bearded Ones comedy podcast. Not Bearded Ones.
Right,
not Bearded Ones podcast.
There is a newer podcast that came out within the last few months just called the Bearded Ones Podcast.
Wow. Suing? Or are you going to collaborate?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I got Johnny Cochran on it right now. I don't know why that was the first name to come into head.
He's been dead
He's
for 10 years.
He's dead. He's been dead for quite a while.
We're going beyond the grave.
But he's so good.
Hey, if a back to life Johnny Cochran knocked on your door, you're like, I'll do whatever this man wants.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I want the actor that played Kenny, who was the Johnny Cochran, like, wannabe copy from Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, yeah.
I will take him.
Jackie.
Yes, Jackie, thank you. Not Kenny. Yeah.
That would be, get him. That's enough. That's enough to make it happen.
Just scare him to death. Today's podcast, we are so thrilled. I am so thrilled that local, live, any kind of theater is finally opening back up.
Me too, man.
We have some folks here in the room, obviously, who are well affiliated with local theater. We'll talk about a second, but Alchemy Comedy, we just opened up a couple months ago.
right.
Shows are slowly ramping back up, and we're having a good time. Greenville Theater's opening back up soon, and then you got, Center Stage is doing performances outside Peace Center, which we'll do another episode here upcoming. But I wanted to invite Evan Harris, who works with Greenville Theater, and just talk about local theater in general before we get into the reviews for Warehouse Theater.
Oh, I'm so excited because we get to we start they already have rehearsals for a show that was supposed to go in the pandemic season called Dixie Swim Club, and we were supposed to do The Producers, and that got put off, and then eventually, at the beginning of the pandemic, it was just, we're gonna have to put it off for a couple of months. Well, a couple of months turned into like a year and a half, and we start rehearsals for that next month. And I was gonna ask you, see, we're gonna do this 1-star review thing, and hopefully mock these people for these awful reviews.
Right.
But is it okay if I maybe work in odd, funny complaints I've heard from patrons?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes, please. You are. Let's see. What's the You have. I don't want to make you sound like a man whore, but you've made your rounds.
No, I am.
And Greenville local. I mean, it's the Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
Folks, I know this is a podcast. And
Second
you can't
podcast in a row where somebody's mentioned the Blue Eyes.
But we have to sit more than 6 feet apart from Evan because the blue in his eyes.
Yeah, those emerald pools.
It's pretty devastating.
Yeah,
draw you in.
It's not fair. In
Not
fact,
to be egotistical, but it does make me a beautiful creature.
that's why my wife is on the other side of the house, locked away. She cannot
I
see
saw
you.
her looking at me.
No, damn it, no.
Yeah, I thought it was odd that you told me I can't use the bathroom alone while I'm here.
All right, well, you can just have my wedding ring. Here you go. Just have a
I don't
size
need it.
11. You can put it on.
I'm not going to commit, and she won't care.
But yeah, so you have done a lot of local theater the past couple of years. I mean, I remember one of my first shows I think I saw was because I saw you. You guys performed together in the 24/7 at Warehouse Theatre back when it was Greenville Little Theater, and that was just super dope in general to watch.
Well, it was Greenville Little Theater at the time. Now it's Greenville Theater. But yeah, we did the 24-hour play festival.
Yeah, 24-hour play festival. Yeah, we did that a whole bunch, and Laughing Stock would perform afterwards and do a set, which is always amazing. I mean, performing in front of like 200
Typically
people.
like 200 to 300 people.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's thrilling, dude. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And now, having not done it for 18 months, I mean, you just said Alchemy Theater is started up, and we're doing this All-Stars show Saturday night, and like, ooh, it's a full house of 50 people.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little nervous, So it's all coming back, but it's just a little bit of a shell shock for a moment.
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went to see you and Miley and Andrew in an Alchemy show a few weeks ago, and it was a packed house.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy the show, but for the first 5 minutes, I was like, nobody breathe for the next hour.
Yeah.
We are in a basement with no circulating
Yeah.
air. I think that night the air
It was
wasn't
hot.
circulating.
It was hot.
It really wasn't circulating because the air was broken that night.
It
I
was
remember.
really hot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've been doing theater in the area since '95. I've worked with all the theaters, the larger theaters in the area, and there've been smaller ones that have sprung up since then that I haven't gotten a chance to work with yet. But technically, I am an employee of the Greenville Theatre, previously Little Theatre, and have been for 5 years now, I think.
Yeah.
So that's my home theater. And so that's where I have most of my interactions with people about theater over the past few years. And I've heard a couple of doozies.
Yeah.
Some complaints that are just sort of, okay, maybe
Well,
the arts
yeah.
aren't for you.
So
I'll say-
you're gonna tell things that you've heard people say about theater. Is it okay if I just spout my own negative comments about the theater?
Yeah, because we're so for those listening to the podcast,
Just kidding.
We are not bashing the businesses we are
No,
recording
no.
about. Absolutely not. We actually
That'd be great. I'll invite the seasoned local actor on the show to talk shit live about other theaters.
No,
no.
we like to turn bad press into good press. We have fun basically with the trolls. For those, I mean, look, people in this day and age are so entitled and they're so quick to make a response on Google or Yelp or some kind of complaint just to feel hurt. And to a degree, I get it. To a degree, when I read some of them, they're so absurd. I'm like, oh, all
Well,
right.
it's like that South Park episode about Yelp reviewers, which is an amazing episode that parodies these people who go to restaurants and become Yelp reviewers and then think that they're full-blown food critics when they know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And they just want to, and people have to start kissing up to them because they're worried that Yelp might affect their business. And it's the worst ego trip ever because it's people that don't know what they're talking about that now have a platform.
So, and sometimes the businesses, and this is a review here on Greenville Theatre as an example, they get the shit that they don't deserve because of something completely out of their control.
Oh, I
right?
bet I know exactly which one you're about to read.
I hate to leave a mediocre review, but while the show itself was great, the theater is way too tight in seating. I can't speak for the whole place as we were in front of the theater, but the front of the theater is cramped. The group behind us could barely fit their legs in front of them because they were in the seat in front of them. They had a small child that kept grabbing at us so much that we had to sit up so that we wouldn't be touched.
Grabbing at them.
Yeah. Hey.
And I love it that that's the theater's problem.
Right,
It's like, you should have come down and clubbed this child.
It's like, I went to this fast food place and the person that sat next to me smelled and they did stuff, How dare you, Arby's?
Yeah.
Like,
I was sitting in a restaurant and people around me were eating. And I was like, ugh.
This child, though, this is the reason you guys are getting blamed.
Yep.
This
Right,
child.
'cause-
And
the
also,
child.
I have worked in that theater for a very long time. It's one of the biggest theaters in the area, especially for local theater. There's nothing wrong with the seats in that theater. They have
No.
plenty of space. Whoever wrote this review, I'm sorry, it might be a you problem.
yeah.
This one is weird, and this is from 2 years ago. This is a small theater. By the way, at the time, it was called Greenville Little Theater for a reason, so duh.
Well, little, like in theater terms, just kind of means off
But it's a
Broadway.
big theater. Like
It's,
it holds,
it's almost a 600 seat
Yeah, I was
theater.
gonna say. I remember you guys did a show with Laughingstock years ago, and I was just like,
It's a huge theater.
it's beautiful too.
Yeah, I love it.
This is a small theater. Some reviewers say there isn't a bad seat in the house. Unfortunately, we disagree. Many seats and most seats in the front, first 5 to 6 rows, become toxic when the smoke machines
This
turn
is
on.
the one. This is the one.
To attend a show is to vape, and the toxicity not reserved for the folks with the sensitive or compromised airways. I'll leave it at that. This one goes way
This
too
is
long.
I know exactly what review you're going to talk about. What I hate about that, what bothered me about that review, was that they also chose in that review to call out a lead performer who, like, his voice cracked at one point during the show.
Come
It was
on.
also a preview night, and this person started blaming the quote unquote smoke. If you don't know theater, that's not smoke. It's what's called dry ice, and it's just water vapor, and there's no chemicals in it. It's just like if you want a fog effect on stage. And it's so funny, historically speaking, when I'm in a show where the fog comes out, the dry ice comes out, immediately you hear people. I'm like, it's water. And what you're not taking into account, ma'am, is that you have a stage full of 30 to 40 people singing beautifully who've been in that dry ice every night for the past few weeks, ever since tech rehearsal, and who are going to continue to be in it for the next 3 weekends. So if you're bothered, that's what I don't understand, is like, at least just go, hey, if you don't like it for any reason, even though it's psychosomatic, just ask somebody to move you.
Yeah.
We would be happy to do that.
They're acting like it's a campfire.
Right.
Hitting them in the face.
Right. They're acting like somebody has a gigantic cigar on stage and is blowing it directly into their face. And usually by the time it reaches the edge of the stage, it dissipates into the air.
It also
goes away.
It also goes down. Like
Right.
it follows the contour of the ground a little bit. So
Right.
someone's just
Oh,
like,
you mean Gravity?
Yeah, gravity.
guys, let me tell you something. Stuff's gonna if you guys heard,
It would be exactly like if I took this bottle of Propel and just splashed a little bit of it in your face.
well, you don't have to
It
do
goes
it. Hey,
down his face, not up his face.
And also, it's not toxic. Like, if you're allergic to dry ice, you're allergic to water. You're one of the aliens
Right.
from Signs.
light isn't affected by gravity, guys. Did you guys know that?
I heard.
This one kind of upsets me too. This is from over 2 years ago, and this guy, you can just tell, just straight from the second sentence here, he had a bone to pick regardless, right? So, and again, I try to be semi-professional. I don't read the name of the reviewers, but once it's out in public domain, who cares?
Yeah.
Actors, sets, costumes, awesome. Sound mixer is awful. It stinks that the performer might be doing the best there is, but they are drowned by the chorus because they can't fix the stupid mic.
It's like when people say that editing in that movie was bad. Like, are you an editor? Do you know what the
Right,
hell
right, exactly.
You know, it takes a lot of work to figure out how to
It
do
does.
that.
And I
stuff.
also like that previous statement, too, just to go back to that other review real quick about not a good seat in the house.
Right.
I've been in a lot of theaters in my time.
Yeah.
I had tickets at one point to see The Lion King at the Peace Center, and they told me, I ended up not getting them, but they told me, they're like, there's going to be a post, like, right in front of you. Are you going to be okay with that? And I was like, I guess I'll look around it. I just want to see the show. Our theater is not like that.
Yeah.
You can see everything from everywhere.
Right.
It's a typical, a proscenium theater, and it's built for it. So like, I've never had a seat in that house unless I was sitting in the balcony where there was a problem seeing anything.
right. Yeah,
It's just
I mean,
people like to complain if
Sure.
things are not, if their night out has even one flaw in it, then their whole lives are ruined.
They're like, yeah, this doesn't feel like a lazy boy. You know,
Right.
this seat, there's not a big koozy drink in my hand.
The seat doesn't vibrate.
Actually, there's not even a cup holder. What am I supposed to
I'm
do?
gonna put my big gulp.
And here's the thing: to speak on the value of Greenville Theater, those are really the only bad reviews I can even find, and that's digging through Yelp and Google and
There are
Facebook.
that theater's the oldest theater in the area too,
Yeah.
so there are hundreds of reviews about that place.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people don't have the right to state their opinion; they obviously do. But just make sure your opinion is a little bit more informed.
Yeah.
One of my favorite complaints I've ever heard from a patron at that theater was that we're doing a play where at one point it was a comedy, and at one point this family who was road tripping goes and sees a Civil War reenactment. And the actor playing the Civil War reenactor, because this is, they're in the South in the play, is playing a Confederate soldier, but he's doing it very comedically. He's doing it, basically the joke is this guy is a really wannabe actor and he's just going way overboard with his performance. Well, somebody got up, went to the box office, and complained that we were putting down the South. The South from the Civil War. The ones fighting for slavery.
Hey, I know we lost and all, but could you make us not lose that bad?
Could you make us not look silly? I understand that the whole point of our side of that war was, human enslavement and torture, but just don't make us look dumb.
Also, can you use real guns? I got some guns in the back of my truck you can use.
I'm willing to share.
I'm willing, man.
Yeah, just give me like a producer credit. Right?
So it's that kind of stuff that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
That people really, even if you're bothered by it, to make the trouble to leave the show and complain to the box office and then expect people to really hear you out.
Yeah, because Evan, they wrote the show.
They did, exactly.
Yeah, because that's what theaters do. They always write their own shows all year round.
Right.
And I love it when people feel compelled to complain because they just don't get the joke.
Right.
Like, you didn't get the joke. The joke is he's this over-enthusiastic actor who's taking everything way too far.
And that's like a really bad, it makes you look bad because they saw one person on stage and they was like, hey, that's the entire group of people.
Yeah.
That's not a way to do things. That's not how you look at people. That's one guy doing one thing.
We had another instance, this is one of my favorites, where, we never do Sunday evening performances. Sundays are always for matinees. And that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Most of the theaters around here do that. But we sometimes have rehearsals for different shows on Sunday night. So we were rehearsing a show. We were in the middle. We had just finished performances. No, we had one weekend left of performances this one show. And we're all in the rehearsal hall. And I hear, somebody trying to come into the rehearsal hall. So I walk outside. It's this whole family dressed to the nines. It's like 7.
Oh, that was like a
7:30.
horror story. I thought they were going to be like,
No. I mean, kind of. But, it was about 7:30 at night, and they're dressed up.
Oh.
And they're just like, hey, we're here to see the show. And I was like, oh, well, we had a performance this afternoon, but we don't do 8 o'clock performances. And the woman was like, well, we were told you did. I was like, oh.
do it.
That's the thing. Most of the cast wasn't in the play we were rehearsing. They'd already
Yeah.
gone home. So I was like, so I went in and get the director, and I'm outside while he's talking to them. And the woman was like, well, we got tickets for the show, and our daughter came down here from another state to see the show. And he's like, well, ma'am, I would be more than happy.
What tickets?
Yeah. What tickets?
What?
Yeah, they got tickets that say
Right, exactly.
7:30 or 8 o'clock on a Sunday.
Right. No.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. So they're sitting there saying, and he's being very nice and just, I'm so sorry there was a mix up. We'll gladly move your tickets to next weekend.
Yeah.
Any night you want, we will. Well, she's not going to be here next weekend. And he's like,
What are you talking about? She's going back to space? Like, just have her drive back
also,
down.
like, what can we do in this moment? Like,
Right.
Call the cast to come back, get the costumes on, turn all the lights on for your family of 5. When a lot of times people confuse the theaters, they could have even been talking about the Peace Center. I don't know.
Sure.
But they weren't talking about us because no one that knows anything would have told them there was an 8 o'clock p.m. performance on Sunday.
Sheesh.
I would have loved if they also sat way in the back.
Yeah.
All right, like you guys,
Yeah.
fine, we'll do it. We'll get the costumes on. We'll get everyone back here. We won't pay them, and we'll perform. And then you're like, welcome. What the fuck?
And they'll write a review later. They're like, The audience that night wasn't very responsive.
We couldn't see.
Tell about this place.
The seats are uncomfortable.
The
way back
entire
here.
show and only 5 people showed
Some
up.
of the actors were still eating dinner. It was so disrespectful.
They were giving us looks too, like they were like. I felt like they didn't want to be there.
It was not worth driving from out of state for this.
Yeah. He should have invited them in to watch the rehearsal. That's probably what I'd have done. You want to watch this? Like, we've been rehearsing the show for a week. You want to come and watch people stumbling through lines and not sure where to walk? We'll let you do that.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears to Warehouse Theatre for a second because we have friends and affiliates.
Very
also
good theater.
Warehouse Theatre.
Very
Awesome.
good theater, by
so,
the way.
So to kind of give an explanation to folks who don't know Greenville Warehouse Theatre, they write and produce their own plays in house.
No, that's
Not typically.
Cafe and then some.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
No, but they did a season like a couple. I can't remember when it was. Right? Like
I don't think they've ever done a full season of shows that they have written.
Yeah.
They have done.
They've done
Because
like
they
the
and Center Stage will do like these fringe things sometimes.
Okay, that's what
where
I'm thinking
they'll
of.
bring
Yeah.
they'll
Yes.
they'll have local playwrights and
Got
do
you.
staged
Okay.
readings and stuff like that. They have done stuff like that before. But
Gotcha.
the thing I love about the Warehouse, and I mean I love my home. Greenville Theater is my second home, but the Warehouse is a smaller theater. They're a black box theater, which means they can pretty much every show you see there they can do differently because
Yeah.
the seats are all on bleachers, so they can do different arrangements, and they typically do lesser known, a little bit edgier shows. And I love that we have, a theater like ours
Yeah.
who does bigger, the bigger lavish musicals and things like that. And then a theater like that who'll do some cutting edge stuff. Greenville's a phenomenal theater town. in
And I think
general.
that's where I met both you guys. I think coincidentally because you guys used to do Distracted Globe back a long time ago. Right?
did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I've stepped in a couple of shows here and there.
Unfortunately, Distracted Globe is now defunct. But I wish they weren't because we
I
had a
know.
blast. Because
Yeah.
we would do shows in the summer, plays in the summer.
You
and
guys
then we would
used
do
the
improv
sets.
afterwards.
It was so
Yeah.
fun.
It was
that-
so fun.
Yeah.
It's an amazing group of people. Definitely.
Great group of people.
But I've got the first review if we want to get into
Greenville
it.
Warehouse, you do it.
So Warehouse Theater. This is there's only 2 1-star reviews. So, that just tells you something about the theater in general. This one is very 2E's. Good place to vid it.
Did it?
1 star.
1 star. What the fuck does that mean?
But I don't want to live there.
I have seen that many times where people think a 1 is like a 1 out of 5.
Is that what this is?
I think that's what this person is trying
They
to do.
think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're number one.
Number 1.
You're like my grandson. You're number 1 in my heart. This
Yeah.
is the number 1 theater.
You're the 1 out of 5 dentists that recommends this toothpaste.
These chos are real goob.
And see, like this one too. Like this is another one going back to like the things that they just wanted to pick a bone.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Pride and Prejudice, and which was well done. Right? Like let's not talk about that more.
Right,
But instead,
Yeah.
but I thought it was a silly play.
I thought it was well done, but Pride and Prejudice, it's so silly.
The theater was freezing for exclamation points. I found the thermostat at the back of the theater and I turned it up.
What?
So they stood up. So I went snooping.
Whose dad is this? They'd be like, I'll
Yeah,
turn it up.
seriously.
What the fuck?
Who's granddad?
Don't worry, Janice. I'll fix this.
And can you make the play less silly?
And I also realized the lights were a little low, so I went and I turned the lights on.
I didn't like the lead actor's performance, so I pushed him off stage.
I noticed some closed doors, and there's no closed doors in my house. No, I just opened them right up.
Yeah, I made sure all the windows on stage were shut.
Then I took off my pants, put my hand down my underwears,
So I
and
can
just
get-
started burping and farting.
So I could
So,
get comfy.
so folks, again, like as I continue this is what I mean by the entitlement, because there's more. Many people were complaining about the cold, and I couldn't find anyone from management to complain to. It
Everybody
started to,
during the show was talking about the cold.
Are you cold?
Who else
Are
is
you
cold? Speak up. Who's cold?
You looking down the aisle? You're cold. I'm cold. Yeah, you're cold. You're cold.
I'm sorry, Pride and Prejudice people.
What do they do? Like Survivor? Do they just get like in a pack? They're like, all right, I'm gonna make a run for the stat.
I don't know, man. It's so fucking bizarre. And it's funny that I've seen that level of entitlement before. I'll never forget this. Years ago, I saw a show at Furman. And, the Furman theater is reasonably small. They've got a bigger, like, auditorium. But their main theater for where, the classes do their shows and stuff is very small. It's a 3-row theater. And I was watching a play. And in the middle of the play, the lead actress had this monologue. And she comes up to the lip of the stage and she's doing her monologue. I'm in the front row. There's only 3 rows. That tells you how small this theater is. And in the middle of her monologue, a guy 2 rows back from me leans over and goes, "Speak up." in the middle of her monologue in this tiny little theater. I'm like, maybe you have a hearing problem.
Yeah. And also, don't talk to the actors.
Yeah, don't talk to the
No.
actors.
What in the hell are you doing?
This is from 8 years ago.
Well, hold on. Was there any more of that one that was...
There's a little bit more, but it was just bonkers. All right, so we're talking about. I couldn't find anyone to complain management. It started to warm up a little bit. Then someone turned it back down.
Well, that's also what you have to consider too. If you're an audience member in a theater, yes, your comfort is important. However, the people performing on stage, I'm not saying they're better than you or they should be treated better than you.
No, but they have lights roasting.
They
on
have
them.
lights roasting them. If it's Pride and Prejudice, they
Yeah.
have period Victorian costumes.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
full of polyester.
So maybe you should
Yeah.
just put on a jacket.
Yeah, it's like the Seinfeld said. The material doesn't breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not cotton. Anyway,
Yeah, it was
the
even-
lobby was freezing too. I was with other people and couldn't leave. It was even cool outside. I felt sick
It was
and nowhere
cool
to go.
outside. It was cool outside. So I tried to turn the thermostat down outside.
I went to God and said, "Turn that
Please
shit up."
turn this shit down.
And also at the very end, it said, I felt sick. So maybe...
Yeah.
Maybe you're sick.
Maybe you're sick, person.
This is the guy that started fucking COVID.
But like again, like the thing of I'm just gonna go to a building that I don't own and
Yeah.
jack their thermostat.
Yeah. Also, here's the thing. Most plays have what we call an intermission. If you don't like the show, you are more than welcome to sit through as much as you can and then get the fuck out. You know, just if there's a legit reason to complain, you have every right to complain. But the fact that the theater is too cold for you when you feel like you want to speak for a few hundred people, maybe maybe live theater is just not for you.
I think too, like for me, I expect theaters and casinos, like these places that have multiple people in an indoor setting, they should be cold because there will be people and body warmth next to you
Absolutely.
and so on. Then it heats up pretty fast.
Yeah,
Oh,
at
yeah.
least cool. I mean, that'd be somebody like complaining about it being hot when they see Shakespeare in the park.
There's no shade.
Yeah, it's like the guy whispers to Romeo, "Where's the thermostat?" Also, speak up, please.
Also, speak up.
This was from 8 years ago, and I don't know if this person just doesn't know how to use the internet or life, but let's get started. Trying to get tickets to the Christmas that almost wasn't. Times not listed on the Greenville Journal Culture section. No website address either. Call the number, and recording goes on. Says to go to the website. Does not give the address. Google it. Find the address. My computer can't connect with its server. Try giving all the information in your publicity and check your website! Exclamation point.
They must have read the thing in the paper wrong, because it's always good about giving times.
Yeah.
Also, if your computer can't connect to the server, again,
That's
it's
on
not
you.
the theater's problem.
No, that's actually on you. If your computer can't connect, that's actually on your computer.
And if
Your
you call,
website's just a title and then a blank sheet the whole way.
they tell me I have to put in this .com. That just sounded dirty to me, so I didn't do it. I couldn't find a website.
This one is even weirder. This one's from 3 months ago,
Oh no,
and
there wasn't anything going on 3 months ago.
and that's why it's so weird. So for those listening, we are recording mid-June of 2021. So as everything's recovering from COVID, right? This would have been somewhere in March, which
Yeah.
again was not open, no shows at
No.
the time. But this is what this review says. Didn't you all perform a play years ago called "The Devil Made Me Do It" or something like that? Question mark. Response from the owner. No, Jason. Sorry, that's the name of the reviewer.
Yeah.
I
No,
just wasn't
Jason.
sure, man. I just wanted to know.
No, Jason, that wasn't us. Not sure who locally knocked that one out. And they gave it a 3-star.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? I just got a question. By the way, medium review.
How dare you not do this play that may or may not exist years ago?
How dare you make me ask a question?
But that was you, right?
Oh yeah,
No,
that was
no,
me.
that
That
was
one,
you.
That one was me, and they did
That
not
was-
perform "The Devil Made Me Do It."
No.
That was a music video I saw.
No, but I meant like that. So I get this a lot as an Asian American in the South, especially. People will look at me. I swear this happened one time. I was followed in Simpsonville Home Depot years ago.
Oh shit!
I had a hoodie and I had a ball cap on. Someone followed me through like 4 or 5 aisles because they thought I was Steve Yoon
Really?
from The Walking Dead.
Really?
Right, which I'm
Oh
like, that's a little flattery, but
No, you're
all
much
right.
less talented
Thank
than he
you.
is.
I am. You're right. You're right. I don't have the voice of Mark from Invincible, and I don't have that charismatic charm.
Jason, have you watched Invincible?
Oh, so good.
It's
I've
so
seen
good.
the memes. I have
So
not
good.
seen
It's
the
so
show.
good.
So good. We gotta talk offline about this.
It's so good.
But yeah, and like I've had a guy, and I told my wife this story the other day. I was in a bank. I was working there. I was enjoying my break time by myself, right? And then the exterminator, who's African American, so I thought maybe he would understand why minorities and
I
other.
understand
Like
your plight.
he comes in, does like a walk by, then he comes back around. He's like,
No.
"We met before, right?" And I was like, "Huh?" And he's like,
I go to that restaurant you work in all the time. Did he really say that?
"You nailed it. You nailed it." And I was like, "No, man, I work here."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, are you sure?"
No, I'm
Swear
sure.
to God, he said he's sure. I was
Quite
like,
sure.
"Yeah,
Sure,
man."
you know where you work, buddy.
Yeah. And then he walked out, but then he comes back like 5 solid seconds later. Sitcom timing. I think I know your dad. I was like, "No,
No, you really don't.
no, you don't." Anyway, that's what this was.
By the way, your dad must have a lot of kids that look exactly like you because y'all work in all the restaurants.
That's
around
what
here.
this play review sounds like. Hey, that was you, right?
That was you.
Oh no, well 3-star. Fuck you.
Yeah, because you didn't do something that I can't even remember if you did or not. So I'm going to give you a mediocre review. That's fantastic.
Oh man,
I don't have any more reviews, but I do have a quick story about
Yeah.
local theater that just made me laugh, and this seems like a good place to bring it up.
absolutely.
Maybe you can remember the details, but it was the situation where an old man was sleeping. Okay, so I'm in the show. I'm in the audience. Guy,
Oh, this was Sherlock Holmes and the Jersey Lily.
it must have been that show at the Greenville Theater, and things are going on. It's a real intense, real quiet part of the show, and all of a sudden this old man wakes up and he just goes, "Get out of my house!"
I remember that.
Because there was nothing on stage happening except intensity,
Yeah.
nothing, nobody talking. You just hear this, "Get out of my house!" And everyone just starts laughing at this poor old scared man.
I remember that because the set we used for that show was like this big cube that had different set walls on it, so it would turn. But inside that thing, it was like a maze, and the panels, the flats we were using for walls were very thick. And so me and one of the other characters were going to be entering soon, and we heard him. Couldn't hear what he was saying,
Right.
but the person I was with, their first reaction was, everyone thinks every theater's haunted. She was like, "It was a ghost." She was sure it was a ghost.
To go.
Now, we did have a complaint once for a laughing stock show.
Ooh.
We were
Oh.
doing a game called Good, Bad, Worse.
This is at warehouse.
This was at the Little Theater at the time.
Okay.
And Jason was the worst. And if you don't know that game,
course
it's a
he
panel
is.
of people giving
Of
advice.
course he
I mean,
is.
typically, yeah.
Look at him in
life.
that innocent face.
Is that why you brought me here?
Yeah. I just wanted to tell you you're the worst.
This is actually now we're actually recording now.
This was our way of telling you that me and Andrew are going to do the bearded ones from now on.
See,
And you're
right
not
here,
in
right
laughing
here. You
stock.
hear this, folks? That's my beard. You
been
can
working.
hear.
You've
But
been
we
working.
were, we try not to be, we'll get edgy sometimes. But we never try to be offensive, especially not racially offensive.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So, if you don't know the game, it's good, bad, worst. It's this advice thing where one person gives good advice, second person gives mediocre advice, third person gives bad advice. And Jason's really good with like keeping things like callbacks in that game because
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
kind of choose a character and then it keeps coming back to him. And every time it comes back to him with a question, he answers it the worst way possible and then tags it with something he's already established so that each time it gets back to him, the situation just gets worse and worse.
Sure.
And in this case, it was something about sour milk. And by the time we got back to him the third time, he was talking about how the mold on the milk had turned black. Come to find out later, we got an email, I think it was an email, that a couple got up and left the show and then accused us of racism because we were equating black with being a bad thing. I'm like, no, have you ever seen mold when it gets really bad? It turns black. I don't know what other color to use.
It's called black mold. Yeah.
It's called black
Yeah.
mold.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows sour milk can jump. It's fine. I don't know why people get so upset about this. Sour milk's really good at basketball too. Why is everyone getting mad?
Yeah, but that's just like it's very like nitpicky kind of like you're focused on just that word.
Yeah.
I think it goes to show that if you do any sort of performance art at all, or anything that is meant to be put out there to the public, you will never be prepared for the offense that some people can get from it. Like, it doesn't matter how clean you are or how like accepting you are. Somebody, as per these reviews,
Yeah.
is gonna get butthurt about something
I think-
completely out of your
I think it was
control.
my second year in Alchemy, and Griffin told me the story, but I wasn't there. And it was a local legend show, so you would have been in the show most likely, Jason. And there were two older ladies in the back, and Harrison Brookie, our company theater owner and fellow performer. I mean, majority of the time, I think Harrison's like the woman in the scene because he can play effeminate really fast. And immediately, as he was doing like mannerisms as a woman, the ladies got up and said, "Nope, not for us."
Wow.
And they walked past Griffin, and Griffin told me that story later. I was like, "What?"
They've never seen Shakespeare. They've
No.
never seen.
Apparently not. Yeah,
They've never seen.
their great grandfathers never told them about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I going back to your story about someone in the audience. I think you heard me and Griffin joke about why we have to be careful during our two-headed monster when we play Good, Bad, Worst.
No.
So when we play Good, Bad, Worst at Alchemy, Griffin will sit in the chair with me, and we go one word at a time,
Right.
talking head monster, one person. It was like 4 years ago. It was before I met my wife, and my friend and her now fiance, who's a nurse, were in the audience, and we had our own doctor in the audience just watching the show. Brooke was there, actually,
yeah.
luckily, and in the middle of our Good, Bad, Ugly, as Griffin and I were continuing talking, a woman screams in the dark audience. She goes, "Quick, someone help, he's passed out." And like, we're like, "Wait, what?" And then like Harrison flipped the lights on, and then this is a gentleman just in the middle of the audience, just kind of tilted over.
Oh no.
And then like a few seconds, he goes,
Oh, he fell asleep.
no, he didn't fall. No, he actually like his heart stopped.
What?
He was laughing so hard.
Oh.
His heart actually stopped.
Alchemy Theater, where we almost kill people.
And so here's what's funny. He's actually, so he works at the hospital. He works at Prisma because he's a friend of our another company member, Jen Manus.
Oh.
So Jen knew him through Facebook because he posted on Facebook that he loved the show so much, he literally almost died.
Wow.
He was a good sport about it. And Harrison like refunded everyone their money that night and came back up on stage 5 minutes later, explained what was going on, apologized.
Yeah, I
and we
assume
just-
he went to the hospital after that.
so
he didn't finish the
so
show.
Brooke walked him out. Our actual like doctor, who's a performer, walked him out to the lobby, just asked him some general questions, and they got an ambulance and they got him to the hospital. So then he posted that he went to the hospital on his own Facebook, and like it popped up in my feed, I think through Jen. And then I swear to God, this is how much this guy is so just a good-hearted guy. He put in the comments, the only thing I really regret was not finding out the answer of this character. And it was Griffin and me. So then I saw it. So then I tagged Griffin. I was like, "Griffin, want to start?" And we went back and forth one word at a time
That's
in the
cute.
comments until we found like some stupid ass answer. And he's like, "Thank you guys." Anyway,
fun.
So if
That's
you're
amazing.
if you're a comedy theater out there, be responsible because you can kill people.
You can. I mean, I don't know if we've ever killed anyone. We've died several times, but we've never
Yeah,
killed
yeah.
anyone.
You know what the game I love the most in improv is what is it? 3 deaths, 3 rooms,
3 rooms, yeah.
where you have 3 people on stage and you all have to keep dying. No,
Oh,
death pendulum.
yeah.
Death pendulum.
Yes.
And you have to keep dying in some capacity form in each room that you keep swirling in and so on. But Harrison, I think, forbade it. So
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
a long game.
It's a long game and it's a dangerous
But
game.
it's a great
because
game.
if you're like lying down in a bad position as you flip to the next scene, yeah, you could easily step on people. For sure.
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's definitely one of my favorite destinies. That being said, folks, as we close out the episode, check out Greenville Theatre. Check out the performance coming out that Evan mentioned earlier. Check out Greenville Warehouse Theatre as well. Live performances are coming back. We are so excited for them. And check out the Bearded Ones Comedy Podcast. You can download them just like us and just, stream them on Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, all the things there that we are already listening to your voices on. Give them a like, subscribe, and give them a review as well. 5-star. I promise you, over 450 something episodes you guys are in.
We're getting there.
Yeah, right now we just did 420. It's a real.
Someone's chuckling at that. I promise you, someone is chuckling at that.
Yeah, so am I. We played a game called Drug Movies Minus the Drugs, and Evan gave me some shit for that. But
Jason's games are the best.
we play a lot of fun games.
But we
and-
actually had somebody that you know on the show.
Huh.
Oh, we had Terry Marchbanks on the episode.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't know if you saw her Facebook post about the guy leaving the love note for her on the Marlboro box, but oh, it was you?
That was you. Oh.
No.
No.
I'm a Marlboro Lights guy.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm not Marlboro Red.
No,
Red is for love.
She had a really good, interesting story about someone that was stalking her and decided to let her know by leaving a carton of Marlboro.
Oh, you gotta go full carton.
Yeah.
Full carton.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I looked it up. It's a $75 love note.
Oh my God.
So those packs of cigarettes are expensive.
If you want to hear the whole story, check out the most recent episode of the Bearded Ones Comedy. I don't know when this will be coming out, but it was episode
420.
420.
Nice. All right, so check them out, and then check out more episodes with 1-star reviews as we continue doing our month-long celebration on theaters coming back. Theaters with an R-E, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theater.
Theater.